All right, Zack Lee is back. It's been about a month and a half?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yep.
When was the Keystone States?
What was it, June 11th? I think June 11th.
Yeah, so it's been about a month and a half. And for people in the arm wrestling community who've been living under a rock, you had a big argument with Travis Bagent at the Keystone States. He was reffing, you were competing, and there were problems, right?
Correct.
Well, apparently after about 6 weeks, for some reason, Travis decided to post a reaction on YouTube to our video.
Yep.
And
yes, indeed.
Yeah, so it was not very nice. So what we are going to do is we're going to go over the video a little bit, and then we are going to talk about what he said and how relevant he is and how personal it got, and so on and so forth. Because if anybody saw it already, it was pretty. He got pretty dirty.
Yeah, very personal.
Yeah. So why don't we just do that? Let's see. Okay, you can see that, right?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So he started at around
112.
Let's see. Okay, so now you could hear this, right?
Play foul and start the process
I
again.
can.
Because that's the way you're supposed to do it.
All right.
So it's just fine with me.
But
the manipulation of
let's go.
I don't care what any arm wrestler does. That's just trying. All I was trying to do is that's a great one there. I don't know if I should even talk about this, bro.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me and we'll wrap it up.
Well, I don't mind at all. Like, so I went to the
is that the footage where you're cussing somebody? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I can't use that word anymore, man. Yeah, motherfucking hey.
All right, so right there, one of the things that happened, well, you could say it. One of the things that happened is he dropped the F-bomb in front of one of the pullers that was gay, right?
Yes, correct.
I don't know. Who was the guy? I don't even know.
His name's Colin Stroder. Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
And at that tournament, when he dropped the F-bomb in front of him, you actually apologized to Colin for him, right?
Yes.
Now, did he ever apologize to Colin?
No. And he said he's not going to.
All right. Okay. Strike one. All
yeah.
right.
I mean, it's one of them things where during the situation, I felt bad because of what he said. And me and Colin are very good friends. So even though I didn't say it, I felt like I needed to tell Colin I was sorry because Colin, he wasn't very happy about it.
Yeah. Listen, I'll even give him a pass on that because when you're pissed off and you're arguing, things come out that you don't want to come out. I'll even give him a pass. But when you calm down, there should have been a direct apology.
Should have been. Correct.
Yeah,
Should have been.
All right. So let's see what else he's got to say.
I got trannies and gay guys all outside my house protesting and shit.
So what did Zack do?
I hit on this one tranny. I didn't even know. I thought it was all good.
Yeah, makes sense.
No, so I went to Paul Lynn's tournament. I'm there. They are they're running 4 or 5 tables in different parts of the park. Like it's a cluster.
It's like a football.
Yeah, it's a cluster of monumental proportion, right?
Okay, is that accurate? Is Paul Lynn tournament poorly run? Because from what I understand, it is not.
Absolutely not. James Reed and those guys did a fantastic job of having 4 or 5 tables. Each table was ran by a different set of refs, a different mic, and different people running the brackets, and it went very nice. I don't know what he is talking about that the tournament is ran like by Paul Lynn. Paul Lynn personally reffed a bunch of matches and did very well. I don't even know where that's even coming from.
I don't know either. All right. So far he's 0 for 2. All right. Let's see what else he's got to say.
And I'm on the WAL little live podcast, just trying. All I was trying to do is make sure that I showed up and showed support because those are good dudes, right? Like Paul and James. Like they come to my tournaments, I go to their tournaments. So I get up there and they want to start the pro class and they need a referee. So I just jumped up thinking I could be there a couple matches until the rotation came. Well, I ended up reffing the 154s, the 176s, and the 198s.
Okay, so what does he mean by when the rotation comes? What does that mean?
So when they were looking for a referee and they couldn't find one off the bat, and I forget who was actually supposed to ref, but they I think they were at the bathroom or something, and then he just decides he said he didn't want to ref, he said, but he will ref. And right then and there, I was like, oh man. And everybody in the classes knew that he did not want to be there, so he chose the ref. It was going to get out of control. That's what he's talking about.
So but when he says rotation, does he think somebody else was going to take his place?
Yes, he thought that someone was going to come relieve him. So he's actually lying, because we had Paul Lynn, we had a couple other guys come over, and I watched it. Paul actually asked him, Travis, do you want me to take over? And he said, no, I'm good.
Okay, so I don't know. Does he think he's fucking Mariano Rivera, where he's in like the?
He's very delusional. I have no idea.
he's in the he's a relief pitcher, and he only comes in for relief. I don't know. Yeah. All right, so he's starting to tell a little bit of white lies here. I mean, he did. Let's give him credit. He did say James Reed and Paul Lynn are good dudes, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Well, yeah, of course, because they make him money.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. All right, so let's see what else he's got to say.
All in a row. It's about 2 hours. So it starts off, Zack Lee, he weighs about 190 pounds, and he's down in the 154-pound class, right?
He's a 7'6" guy, yeah.
I don't know how he did, but I guess he thought that somebody good was coming, Sam Harris or somebody. So he sucks down to 154. John Hanowski is at 154. They've got probably 15 other guys, but them two are probably the best, whatever. But Zack Lee, I mean, listen, I don't care what any arm wrestler does. However, when I'm reffing, like, I don't know where you are on this, but I'm the best referee in the world. Okay,
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the best at all this shit, Artem. I swear.
It's just hard. I know. Whenever.
All right, so you did suck down to 154, right?
Yes.
And it was because somebody was going to show up, and you wanted to arm wrestle a particular person. Who was it? Sam Harris?
It actually wasn't Sam. It was a WAF champ. His name is Almeida. I can't pronounce his last name. He is from the country of Georgia, and he won Keystones last year, so I wanted to pull him because he is a WAF world champ. So, like, it wasn't Sam. I mean, obviously, Sam would have been a bonus to pull because Sam's number one, but I wanted to pull Almeida. So I don't know what. But he's just like right there, his comment about being the best referee. Him saying he's the best referee, means that he's a horrible referee.
I got you. Okay. So he's being facetious. And I don't know who Artem is. Do you know who he is? Because he's kind of, who is he?
Yeah, Artem is from Florida. He's actually, I think he is, I don't want to say where he's actually from because I don't want to get it wrong, but I think he's an Eastern European guy too.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, and me and Artem are very close. I mean, I like him. He seems like a good dude. He's never said anything bad about me. And that, as far as I remember from this video, I'm not sure that he did. I was so mad, so I don't really remember.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So let's go from here. All right.
When you have a talent, it's hard to hide it.
And so
I've been there many times. Every morning.
I'm the best referee in the whole world. Okay. So
undoubtedly.
And it's crazy. So as soon as I start reffing, I can tell every arm wrestler that's getting away with it is unhappy, right? And I am quick to call a foul and start the process again because that's the way you're supposed to do it. So I get up here, boom, and I'm pulling those hands around, lining up that webbing. I'm telling them to close their thumb. I'm taking a step back, checking out everybody's posture, making sure that elbows are where they are and that they can stay comfortable there. I'm coming in. I'm telling them to close their hands. I'm waiting for them to close their hands under their thumbs. And then I'm saying go. If you carve in, if you hike back, if you cap, whatever the it is. And a lot of times when I tell you to close your thumb, I can already point out to both of you that you are on the verge of fouling.
Right.
Right. So you can, whatever. when I'm putting the straps on, I'm separating the elbows so that I have the ability to do the fair strap.
All right. So is what he's saying accurate? Because it sounds like he's accurate, but it sounds like he's just trying to justify it.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to justify by him calling fouls. He is a very manipulative, sarcastic joke. He's acting like he is the fairest, most civilest, best. He is terrible, and he knows it. He is so full of himself that he believes his own lies, and whatever comes out of his mouth, whether it is completely false, he believes that it is true because his mouth said it.
I got you. Okay. All right. So he's never gonna apologize, be accountable, or anything like that.
He would never ever admit that he is wrong, that he is any type, shape, way, or form negative at all. That's just whatever he says comes out of his mouth. He believes it's true because he said it, not because someone else said it, only because he said it.
Imagine having to work with this guy like every day, like and then.
Here's the thing. He doesn't work. He doesn't have a job. He makes money off of social media, off businesses promoting bullshit. He doesn't work.
Well, he's got 20,000 subscribers, so he's probably making some money on his YouTube channel. I don't know what else he does.
Well, he's a couple different gyms. Listen, he's an incredible businessman. I will give him that. He is, but that's why he's such a good talker, because he is a good businessman. He can talk and talk and talk and make you buy probably a dog turd on the fucking street. Excuse my language.
Sorry, don't worry about it. All right, let's see what else he says here.
I'm not letting you both cross each other where we can't do it, right? So I'm doing everything masterfully, perfectly, no problem. Well, John Hanowski and Zack Lee are receiving a balk of the fouls.
Okay.
They both probably get fouled from me in their 3 or 4 matches 6 times, right? One of the matches against each other called.
Now, is that accurate? He was fouling the other guy just as much?
Never.
No.
John didn't receive a single foul. Now, me and John are good friends, and I will always be respectful to John because this situation has nothing to do with John. But there was not and I have all the videos, every single one of them. There's not a single foul called on John. Every foul was called on myself.
So he's out and out lying by this point.
Absolutely. I had the videos. And he even baits me a couple times where I said, okay, Travis, where can I close my hands where you're not going to call me a foul before the match even starts? And I ask him here, and he baits me and calls foul. And I said, I'm just asking you. And he baited me anyway.
All right. So at this point, he's out and out lying. All right.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So let's see.
Lost Zack Lee the match, right? He fouled 3 times, right? No problem. He comes back to the winner's bracket, and they're going to pull again, right? He's the loser. John's the winner. They're going to pull again.
Yeah, no problem.
But I can already tell both of them have already gotten on my fucking nerves, right?
Right.
So I'm simple. I'm like, yo, Steve, you can ref this. That way, I don't really care because they're both cheating. They're both hot.
Okay. Is that what happened? Did he tell Steve?
No, I got mad because he kept calling fouls on me. And he said, well, I don't got to do this. He said, he looks at me. He says, I'm making this much money with a 0 on his hands, and said, I'm not making no money. He said, I don't got to ref. I said, good. I said, get off the table. Then I said, allow Steve to ref. It wasn't his choice. It was my choice. And the thing is, John wasn't making him mad at all. John was doing his job. John was just trying to arm wrestle. It was me that was apparently making Travis mad for some weird, oddly reason.
So he lied again. He basically said, he's basically what he says, the total opposite. He said, I'm done here, Steve. You could ref.
Absolutely.
And that's a lie.
Yes. And I was happy as can be whenever they allowed Steve to ref.
Right. All right. Let's keep going.
Still, Travis had a lot of power.
What happened?
He was the down ref. Travis had mostly all the power as the down ref.
All right. Let's see what he says about that.
Maybe you'll just start the match. I just can't do it in good conscience, right? I'd rather foul them and make them start correctly, right? So I go to him and Steve, they start fouling each other. Then Steve starts fouling them too because it's crazy. So they end up, John beats him. And as soon as John beats him, it's one of those where he tried to get out of it with another foul, which was his third one or something. So I'm over here saying, foul 1, foul 2, foul 6. Like, I'm just being a smart ass, not calling fouls, but addressing that there are 100 fouls happening both times all the time, but it's no big deal. So Zack loses. Wow. And I'm not even the head ref, right? I'm just saying, no, it has nothing to do with me. And he bangs the table, looks at Steve Black. Then he looks at me and says, you. I mean, right up in my grill, right? Now, listen.
All right. So, again, tell your side of the story now.
Okay, listen. Travis just admitted 100% for once that he was provoking me when I was pulling. Calling fouls from the down rep position that weren't there, were there, whatever. And I absolutely tried to run, and that's on John. That's not even about the situation. He absolutely admitted that he was provoking me while sitting down reffing, influencing Steve, calling fouls. So he is trying. Yes, I absolutely told him F you 100%. But he's letting out the part whenever I was complaining about the foul being called. He says, "Don't be a."
Right.
So he's forgetting all these pieces of the puzzle that allowed me to say "F you" to him and get mad.
All right. Let's see. I don't know. Somebody else came in. I don't know who that is.
Brandon Morris. He's also from Florida. He's a pretty good dude as well.
Okay. So let's see.
This guy's 3 foot tall. This guy is 3 foot tall, and I'm telling you.
This guy, Artem, is a friend of yours. You know him well?
Yeah.
So why is he kind of sucking up to Travis then? Why wouldn't he say? Why is he laughing? At the very least, he should be like, all right, yeah, Zack is a smaller guy.
Because Artem is also a sarcastic asshole at the same time, but he's not a degrading person.
Okay.
Like Artem is cool. Like you can mess with Artem and he'll mess straight back, but he's never degrading, and he doesn't try to be. He's not like he's not a disrespectful. He's just a sarcastic asshole at times, which is fine with me.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. Let's see.
Right now, I immediately I get a big smile on my face, and I'm like, you know what? What the are you gonna do to me? Motherfucker, I will fuck your bitch ass. I mean, I said I went crazy, right?
You see how they just acted?
Say that again.
Do you see how Artem just acted after he just said it?
Yeah, because I don't know why he didn't bleep it out, because you get demonetized. Oh no, this is Zack's. This isn't Zack. This is on Travis's channel. Yeah. They probably shared this. I don't know what he did on his channel. So Zack didn't bleep it out. I don't know what. Well, I don't know, because usually when you drop the F-bomb and the N-bomb, you get demonetized, or you get limited advertising, which basically means demonetized.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to go back and bleep all that out. All right. All right.
I mean, you can see all Artem's face.
You could see. You could tell he messed. You could tell he knows he messed up. All right. Let's see.
Let me tell you something. I have a character flaw.
Do you?
I 100% will get in a fight argument quick. All you got to do is say "F you" to me.
Oh no.
Yeah, if you say it.
Say that again, Zack.
Perfect words right there. I will get in a fight argument.
Yeah.
Not an actual fight, because that's different to him, because he knows there's trouble. I will get in a fight argument.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have anything else to back it up besides his mouth.
Right. All right. Let's see.
Bro, you look like Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson going off talking about you're gonna f his children.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Didn't know what was.
Oh, did he really say that?
If he did, I did not hear. I did not personally hear that.
All right.
Yeah, I did not hear that part. I hope he did not say that, because that changes the game a lot more. I personally don't remember that or didn't hear that.
I hope he didn't say that.
Me too.
I really hope he didn't say that, because that is. I would. Oh man, those words wouldn't even come to my fucking head if I was angry. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think he did. I honestly don't think he did, but I didn't hear it. Brandon might be just like, like using it as another situation to like compare them to.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Right. All right. Let's see.
What's going on?
Right. Listen, I 100% will do that at the Walmart. If somebody says that to me, and look, what is up with Brandon's biceps right now? Man, you juiced up, man. Good God.
Look at the peak on that mother.
Get off the sauce, man.
Right,
I went nuts, yo. I went nuts. And I'll do it again, too. I don't apologize at all about it. So, yeah, if the LGBTQ community got a problem with me calling Zack a then you got a problem. Because I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to slip again. I'm going to slip again. Before I die, I'm going to slip again.
All right. We missed that one point.
On 15
Zack Lee said that he's an MMA guy. And I'm like,
all right, let's go back. I felt he was talking about his biceps.
And look, what is up with Brandon's biceps?
It's just
you to me. Quick. I'm just telling you right now. If you want to catch me and you want to fight me, you say F you to me. I will say 15 words that make sure that you want to fight me after that.
Now, thankfully, Zack Lee didn't have Tom Nelson's family there.
Oh, thank God.
And fight the grandma on 15
Zack Lee said that he's an MMA guy. And I'm like, well, you should have told me that too. Because, I mean, if Mike Tyson said F you to me, I don't know how quick I would go crazy. But
I have to accept that one.
I'm looking at Zack Lee, and he looks like literally like a midget. Like this guy is 3 foot tall. I'm thinking to myself, I'm killing this guy in a fight.
You got no shame. You got no shame.
I'm like, and then, look, Zack's got his wife there. I'm like, man, I'll punch.
Before we get to that part, this guy Brandon, you know him?
Yeah.
All right, and he's saying you have no chance. Does he know your background?
No, he said Travis has no shame.
Oh, Brandon said he has no shame.
Yeah,
let me go back because it sounded like he said you have no chance.
No, Brandon said that Travis has no shame when he's talking about like being a dick.
All right, let's see.
Grandma on 15.
Zack Lee said that he's an MMA guy, and I'm like, well, you should have told me that too, because I mean, if Mike Tyson said F you to me, I don't know how quick I would go crazy. But
I have to accept that one.
I'm looking at Zack Lee, and he looks like literally like a midget. Like this guy is 3 foot tall. I'm thinking to myself, I'm killing this guy in a fight.
You got no shame. You got no shame.
Yeah, he says no shame. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I thought he said no chance. He says you got no shame. All right.
Yeah.
And then, look, Zack's got his wife there. I'm like, man, I'll punch her in the face too. Are you kidding me? I hate all these people. So, yeah, I went nuts, yo.
All right. So we're going to stop it there because that was pretty much where he crossed the line.
Yep.
All right. All right. Go ahead. Actually, you get the floor. You say what you want.
So the situation at Keystone, it's over. It's done with. That's irrelevant. You know, we can go back and forth all we want to. He can say this about me. He can call me whatever names he's want. Obviously, he's never been in a true fight because if you're going to base everything off a 3 foot person, then you've never been punched in the mouth before. That's just how I rate it. Because if you are going to rate me by being short, saying that you can kick my ass because you're bigger than me, that's not how it works.
Yeah,
it's far from the truth. And Travis needs to realize he's fat, he's out of shape, he's soft, and he's got a big goddamn head, and it's a big target. Now, Keystone's over. Where he stepped past at this time is saying that he would punch my wife in the face.
Yeah.
So Keystone is a blur. It's gone. It's done. You don't talk about another man's wife. You don't mention that stuff. Listen, even that last interview we did, I mentioned in there, I called Travis some names, but at the same time, I told him that he was a wonderful dad.
That's right.
He was good with his children.
That's right.
I would never even think about telling his wife, Casey, that no matter what happened between Travis and I, that I would want to punch her in the face.
Right.
Even if she would say something to me when I was mouthing Travis.
That's
because
right.
You don't do that as a man. And the thing is, my wife, Destiny, was one of the only people to try to stop me from fighting Travis that day, to calm me down, so I would not fight Travis.
Yeah, that's how you know you got a good wife. Once she tries to keep you out of trouble instead of getting you in trouble. That's right.
Exactly. So now it comes to the problem we have is that this wonderful, great Travis Bagent everybody talks about, who is completely irrelevant, who hasn't done anything in 20 years because he's a fucking turd. Excuse my language.
It's all right.
But he's a turd. He's irrelevant. Now, he wants to talk about someone's wife, wants to be like this, saying that he would punch a 13-year-old kid. He would punch an 80-year-old grandma in Walmart. Now, this is everybody's so-called idol that everybody looks up to and is asking him, hey, champ, when you coming back to do another left-handed run, champ? Hey, champ, when you going to do this, champ? Got news for everybody that thinks this about Travis. He's done. He's washed up. It's over. He can't make another run if he doesn't even want to try to make another run because he doesn't have it in him, because he doesn't have it upstairs. All he's about is marketing, promoting. All these other guys, we talked about it before, all these other guys that are way older than him are still doing well and beating everybody. Travis is a has-been and he's a never was. I don't care if I'm a has-been or never was, because that's not who I am. Travis has a legacy and a name that he decides to hold on to from 20 years ago, that's the only thing he's basing his whole life off of. Now, this everybody's idol decides to let his character flaw that he says out and say that he would punch someone's wife. Now, I would love to see what would happen if someone said that they would want to punch his wife in the face, or, you know, one of the other promoters that is his friend. Someone would like to say, if someone tried to say that they would punch Paul Lynn's wife or James Reed's wife or anybody else that would help Travis out in a situation like this, and see how they react, because they would act the same way I do. It just so happens to be social media. I don't air those kind of things, what I really want to do and say.
Right. But I get it. I get it. Do you think this is just a persona? Is this an act?
Absolutely. It is an act. It is a persona. He never would act this way. He never would say those things if they wouldn't have brought him onto a live podcast. Never. So that's another problem. He only talks when a camera's rolling. Listen, if he called me up tomorrow and said, Zach, let's sign a waiver and let's do this the right way, absolutely, I would sign it. But the problem is, after I sign it, he would never sign it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I mean, it took him 6 weeks. He never contacted me to come on here, and he never mentioned our interview.
No, he won't, because you are respectable. You're a non-arm wrestler that likes the sport, that talks about strength sports, talks about normal things. So he can't feed off you, and how can I want to say it? There's nothing that he can do with an interview with him that will help himself out.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Because you talk to more people that are down to earth and want how to help people, strength sports, bodybuilders, just people that have done a lot in any sport. There's nothing that you could say or do for him that would benefit him to get an interview.
I see. Okay. I see what you're saying.
And that's why he didn't contact you about our video, because he knows he can't make threats. He knows he can't blow up and threaten someone's wife on your podcast. He can't threaten people, threaten to kill them and stuff like that. He just did on Artem's and with Brandon. He can't do that on this. That's why. Yeah.
Whether it's a persona or an act or not, once you start talking about somebody's family, somebody's wife,
it's over. You crossed the line. It's done.
You crossed the line. And we talked before we started this. We talked about when McGregor was promoting and insulting Habib.
Yes.
And that guy took it serious, because he's not American. He doesn't trash talk, and he took it. And that's when he jumped into the audience after he beat the hell out of McGregor.
Exactly.
And stuff, because, you know, I don't know what McGregor had said. I know, you know, he's basically
he insulted Khabib's family, called him trash.
See that exactly.
Called him mountain people, called him, worthless. He just hit him low below the belt.
Yeah. You got to know who you can do these things with and who you can't, and who you could, and what to say and what not to say, because not everybody's going to take it the same way. obviously Habib did not take it the same way. It's just.
And he waited. He bided his time and waited, and then took care of it the right way.
Yeah, right. Well, unfortunately, this isn't an MMA fight, but he also took 6 weeks to respond, which is kind of strange, unless he just saw it yesterday or 2 days ago.
Well, no, I talked to Ryan. He's seen it the moment we put it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, the problem is, here's my thing, and this is why I'm having trouble swallowing it. So the whole situation that happened, I tried to be the bigger person, tried to squash it, settle it. Even during our interview, we just talked about the situation. I gave him praise in many different aspects of his life. The problem is he held on to it and didn't want to squash it. And then he goes on to make more threats, makes fun of me, which is whatever. It's irrelevant. I don't care. You can say what you want about me. At the end of the day, if you don't say those things to my face, well, they don't really matter.
Yeah, right.
However, when you get on a podcast, when you have, like you said, 20,000 followers and you threaten my wife, things are different. I was not raised like that. My dad, we've spoke about it before. My dad is very, very old fashioned. He thinks any crime, any physical domestic violence against a female, children, anything is a disgrace, and you handle it accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I spoke to him. I'm sure that the statement I just made, you gather information what he thinks I should do.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
The way I was raised and the way I am with Destiny, my wife, like even when I've been mad and I've flipped out and stuff, I have never sent any of my aggression or anger towards her in any shape, way, or form.
Right.
I have been fighting mad before, and she can walk right up, hug me, and I would never do anything. It makes me wonder when he flips out, how he treats his wife or his kids or any other human being. Like he just said, he beat up a grandma, which we all know that's a lie. Because one day he is going to flip out on someone in Walmart, a 13-year-old kid, and the dad is going to be there.
Yeah.
And the dad is going to, this day and age, if we're not going to fight him, he could shoot him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. My personal opinion is I think Travis, it's a persona, but I think he crossed the line. I don't care that it's a persona. You cross the line. You don't talk about somebody's wife. I mean, I don't. That's just wrong. No. Whether it's an act or not, it's just wrong.
And honestly, I'm tired of his fake persona. I'm tired of his fakeness. I'm tired of everybody thinking he's some great person. Listen, I may be a nobody in the arm wrestling world, according to some people, but I'm not. I'm very relevant because I'm still competing. Now, if I wasn't competing, I would say I'm irrelevant, but I compete. Right. So therefore, even if I'm the biggest loser in the world, I'm relevant because I compete. Whether I'm a turd or the best, I'm relevant. He doesn't compete at all. I am so tired of his fake persona and his act that he has to put on, and all these wannabe social media people that think he's great when he's absolutely trash. And the reason he's trash is because he's fake. Now, if he was like this 24/7, you might be able to call him a real person.
Right.
But he's Travis on camera, Travis off camera. But at the end of the day, he's still same Travis. Like you don't get to be fake and get a pass because that's your persona because the camera's rolling and you get to slip like he says. Missed a part of the podcast in there. Like he talks about, if a gay man, he would invite a gay man to his house, he would let him sleep with him, but if they touched him, he would kill him. Like saying stupid shit like that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You are 40 some years old. You're not a child anymore. We don't need to act like we're 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needs to grow up. But the problem is the arm wrestling world doesn't see that. They still think he's Travis Bagent, who's always going to be making a comeback, but he's not.
But he is ruffling some feathers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is the majority.
I got probably 20 text messages today that people just watched it and they come to me and asking me, Zach, you good? Like, you okay? Like, we heard what he said about Destiny. Like, everybody was like, we know you're good. He's like, but are you okay with what he said about your wife? No, I'm not okay. Like, he pushed the boundaries now.
Yeah. Now, how does your wife feel? Is she okay?
No,
what was her reaction?
She is actually very upset.
Yeah.
Because, when you take your wife to these, I call them basically family events because I think arm wrestlers are more family than anything. When you take your wife or your kids, it's 99% men. And then the other 1% is they bring their wives.
Right.
And she's like, I can't believe a guy who's 6'2", 270 he's soft now, could say that he would punch a woman in the face. Like she commented on the YouTube thing and basically said that like it had disgusted her that he would say that, whether joking or not, because he reiterated himself. He just repeated himself so many times about it. She's not happy. And she's not like fighting unhappy. She's upset because she was there and it's clear on camera. She comes over to me, tries to calm me down and tell me not to go up there and do anything to him. Because if it would not be for her and another very good friend of mine, I would have started a fight on camera.
Yeah.
I would have tried to fight him on stage in front of all those cameras.
You would have got banned from God knows what tournaments and blah 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 blah.
Exactly. I'd have made a fool out of myself only to benefit Travis, even though he provoked me. I would have looked like the bad guy. Right.
That's how you know you got a good wife. I've been in situations like that where very little, like very, very little. One time I was in Las Vegas and I had gotten to words with somebody. We were out, it was late, and the guy was drunk and I shoved him, and my wife immediately got in between, pushed me away and said, no fighting. We're not going to fight immediately. And,
and she like shuts you down because it's your wife right in front of you.
Exactly. You with a terrible girl when she likes when two guys fight over them. And we've all seen those women,
those are detrimental to your health.
Yeah. You don't want those women around.
No, they're very bad.
Yeah. All right. So where do we go from here?
Honestly, listen, people that know me personally, and we're getting to know each other very well. Last night it was very hard. I actually had to shut it off, and she watched the rest of it this morning. Like even right now, me thinking about it, talking about my blood pressure spiking and my ears are getting warm. That situation is not over. He can say what he wants, insult my height, whatever he wants to do. At the end of the day, if I would see him tonight, 20 minutes after this video was over, he would not fight me. That's just the bottom line. He can say what he wants. Even Brandon Morris in that video said, Travis, listen, man, if you just said that to me, I'd have picked you up and slammed you. And then they made fun of him and said he can't fight. And him and Brandon are very, very good friends. And Brandon's like, dude, no, I don't think you can fight. You just talk. Okay. And I spoke to my dad about that. Me and my dad are very close. He's like one of my best friends. And we spoke very long today about this situation. And he doesn't want me to go to jail.
Yeah, no, unfortunately that's it's not like the old days, No.
And I personally think if me and Travis do get into it, if something would happen, I think that he has a big enough ego that if he would get tuned up, that he would probably try to get me in trouble, try to call the cops. He says he won't, but I think that he would go that route to save face. But at the end of the day, that would make him look even worse. Right. He can do whatever he wants at this point because I have my headset. I'm a very straight and narrow person. I won't sugarcoat it. It's to the point now where, my wife's upset. My close friends are pissed off because I'm pissed off. People on my team, all through my group chat, are very upset that he said it because Destiny's like, I know she's young, but she's like sort of like one of the team moms. Yeah, where she makes everybody food. She gets everybody pizza.
Exactly.
During big practices, she makes everybody has water.
You got a good wife. You got an excellent wife. Yes.
She helps out tremendously. And then so like when they insult her, then they get involved and they're pissed. They're like, oh, Zach will help you, blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, they're insulted too because she's such a good person.
Yes.
Yeah. I really truly like Michelle Dugan very much.
So do I.
And and she anybody who comes on my podcast and just wants to come on and is somewhat of a celebrity and doesn't ask for money and no problem, I'll come on, it's okay, blah blah blah. I feel very, very it's how can I say this? I feel very obligated to to help them with however I can, right?
Exactly.
And James and I had a discussion where somebody had insulted Michelle.
Yes.
And I actually got insulted. And I was like, I met her in person twice, but she's been on my show like 4 times or something like that. And
yeah, Michelle's a good person.
And I got insulted because somebody said something terrible about her. And so it's the same scenario when you're good people and you're surrounded by good people, and it's instinctual for a man to want to protect a woman, right?
Exactly. And I asked James Reed, I said, what would you do? I said, if someone insulted Michelle, he said, I wouldn't let him finish the sentence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Michelle, James, I would not want to mess with James at all.
And I know James acts and looks like a big teddy bear, but I know James's background.
Yeah, he has a big fighting background too. Like he only recently stopped fighting a few years back,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
The guy's a bigger guy. He's got big hands. Just because his wife's an amazing arm wrestler and he's not, he's still in her ear, teaching her, helping her, helping every little bit of technique for her. Just because he doesn't actually pull doesn't mean that he's not involved in her every single part of her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how a marriage should be.
Yes.
It's how a marriage should be. I'm having a booth at a bodybuilding contest this weekend. They have an expo. Every bodybuilding show has an expo. I mean, it's small, right? Because it's an amateur show, but I'm having a booth, and my wife has been coming home from work. She gets home late and making my shirts for me. She prints out the print, and she's printing up, and she's printing up. I mean, I must have 100 shirts downstairs that she made up, so I can go to this, have it be ready at the booth. I mean, that's how you know you chose a good wife. You know,
absolutely. Destiny helps run tournaments. She helps run brackets.
Yeah.
She gets the awards ready. Like, she makes sure everybody at the end, she has a piece of paper. She makes sure everybody gets their award. And if they don't, she mails them to them.
Mm-hmm.
Or when she sees them, she brings them personally. Like, that's the way it should be. And, I don't know how Travis's relationship is, and I don't really honestly give two shits. I hope he's fucking miserable, and I hope she's miserable, because that's just how I feel right now. Right. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's right. I don't know. I don't care. It's just the fact that this situation has been blown out of proportion way further than what it should have.
Right,
okay,
right.
You guys have beef, whatever. F you. Want to fight? No. Okay, we're cool. Done.
It happened to me at work today. I got into an argument while it was about work. And I got into an 10 minutes later, it was like nothing happened.
Exactly. Listen, I fight with inmates on a daily basis.
Right.
An inmate will mother F me, threaten to stab me. I'll call his bluff, and I'll bring him into my office alone, away from his buddies.
Right.
He'll say, Lee, I'm sorry. I apologize. That was really respectful. I'm glad you didn't do it for everybody.
Right.
We're good. And then I never have a problem with him. Like, that's like, and I work in home. I try to separate, but it's hard. Yeah, like, the inmates that I deal with, some are good, some are great, some are really bad. Right. And some of them just hope.
You're there? You froze up on me.
They never make it out.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Travis is like the inmate that I have that takes protective custody and takes PC and hides in the bucket all day because he runs his mouth, and then when they try to fight him, he runs and hides and gets protected by the COs. Like, that's who Travis is. He runs his mouth. He's the type of person that would play cards and lose spades every day, and then owe a bunch of people money, and then they say, hey, well, listen, we want our money, and he says, no, I'm not getting it, and they say, well, then we're going to kick the shit out of you, and then he calls a CO, takes PC, and then hides the rest of his term inside the bucket alone, because that's who he is. And between you and I would treat him just like an inmate.
Right.
Because it doesn't mean anything to me.
I got one more question for you, Zach, and then I'm just going to let you go, man. If Travis were to give you a call and apologize, would you accept the apology?
Probably, honestly, at this point, it would have to be almost one of them things that would have to be in person, because there can't be no cameras. There can't be no benefit. It would have to be a one-on-one personal thing where he would, because you have to see it with Travis. Like, because a phone call, you can't see their face. Text message, you can't do it on a live podcast. You can't have any type of social media with him. It would have to be like in person, and that's what I have to do, because if not, it don't mean anything coming from him.
Right. And what if he said, I also want to apologize to your wife?
Well, then that would be up to her.
Good point. Very good point.
Because you know what I mean? And listen, she's a very, very nice person, but she holds grudges.
Yeah.
It'd be one of them things where he would have to be sincere. And the part of me that is like, I don't know if I would let him be around her for saying that, because I probably wouldn't let him within arm's reach, because I don't know what would take over for me, knowing that he said he'd punch my wife. I don't know if I would let her be around him, because I don't know if I wouldn't hit him or not, because he's saying that he would punch my wife and that he hates her and all this stuff. He doesn't even know who she is. Yeah.
Well, I hope that people are chirping in his ear saying, look, you shouldn't have said that. And I hope he apologizes to you and your wife. I don't know if he's going to, but that would be the right thing to do.
Absolutely the right thing. But here's the thing. You and I both know he won't. Mm-hmm. I can sit here and I would bet a year's salary on it that he wouldn't. And this is why I know he won't. Because it's a persona. We get it. On just his live podcast, he said that he would never say sorry about anything to a little kid, a grandma, my wife, anybody, the LGBTQ, whatever he likes to say. Because he said he'd slip again. Because the problem is, he could say he was sorry to me, and then a year down the road, I'm arm wrestling with somebody and he doesn't like it. He says something, and then I jab back, and then he calls me the same word again, and then we're back to fighting again. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't do it to me. He does it to everybody else like he was doing.
Right.
The problem is that nobody spoke up. And that's the issue, is he was calling the same fouls and being a dickhead to everybody else at that tournament. And they were getting mad. And, he tried to foul out my good buddy Paul Talbot and everybody. But the problem is people take it because it's Travis Bagent.
Gotcha.
And I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. All right, man. Listen, I'm gonna let you go. Is that your wife behind you or no?
Yep, right there she is.
Hi. Does she want to say anything or no?
Yeah, babe, you want to say something?
Truly, like, the respect for Travis has definitely gone out the window. There is no more respect on my end. It's sickening being that old and that big. I mean, I'm 23 years old, 130 pounds. Like, the fact that you would ever say you would punch a woman in the face, to me, is very disrespectful. It's not something you say to a woman. The fact that I did nothing to him and I stopped it, there's no reason for me to even be involved. My name shouldn't even have came out of your mouth. That was between you and my husband, but right. I mean, hopefully people realize who he is, but I doubt it.
If he were to apologize to you, would you accept the apology?
Honestly, probably not, because I've finally seen his true colors.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, listen,
that's the problem, John. I don't want to hold you up any longer.
No, it's all right. That's fine.
But that's the problem. Maybe if it was prior to this and like he'd have done it out of spite, or just like you said, like word vomit, like, because it happens. When we get mad, I could say stuff to you that I don't mean one bit. And then 10 minutes later, I was like, oh, shit, man, I shouldn't have said that to John.
Oh, it's happened to me plenty of times, dude.
Yeah, like, we're close. Like, I probably shouldn't have said that. And then we apologize and it's good.
Right. Yeah.
But he has slipped for 20 years.
No, yeah. And that wasn't a slip. No. That wasn't a slip. That was intentional to get a rise out of you.
And the thing is, he has what he likes to say. He has slipped with best friends, people, family, and I've seen it. I've seen the way he acts with other pullers that are supposed to be his friends, that are helping him make money. Just like we said in the podcast, he made fun of Paul Lynn, and Paul Lynn is one of his close friends, saying that it was a show, it was a cluster, the F word.
Yeah.
He was just terrible about the tournament, which it was one of the fastest Keystones we've ever been to.
I've had Paul Lynn is another one that I truly respect, because he's been on my show plenty of times.
Absolutely, he's great.
And he's another guy that, came on. He was the first puller I ever had on. And, I didn't realize how famous he was in the arm wrestling world when I first had him on. Yes. And then I realized it, because after him, that's when he was able to get Michelle on. And then I actually got Steve Black on, and then I got Mike Aiello on, and James, and then one thing leads to another, right? I would, I would never say anything terrible
No,
about.
you have no
never.
reason to.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give you a reason. Like, Paul's one of the nicest guys you ever met.
Yeah, actually, when he was arm wrestling, see, I didn't know how arm wrestling worked. When he was arm wrestling John Brzenk, right? And John Brzenk made a match after him before they even arm wrestled. I took an insult. I'm like, yo, he thinks he's gonna fucking walk right through Paul and go right to, you know. And I actually messaged him, and Paul's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, you got to make as much money, because I'm thinking of like fighting, right? Like, you don't plan the next fight until the fight's over, because you don't know what the hell's going to happen,
Exactly.
right? So and like I said, you know, with Michelle, like, I got insulted when John Brzenk actually did that, because, you know, Paul's been on, never asked me for a dime. He plugs my show. He's a great dude, you know. What are you gonna do? Listen, hopefully it's over. We'll see what happens. You know, he's gonna watch this, even though he says he doesn't, and so on and so forth. You know, maybe he'll man up. It doesn't sound like he will, but we'll see what happens.
He won't. No, we know that. It's sad to say that, you know, that social media feeds his ego and the cameras feed his ego, but at the end of the day, that's all he has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's literally, and I don't care what anybody says, but he has kids in college. He has stuff going on that he shouldn't be that way if he's a stable person in the community.
Right.
You know, all this different stuff. So whatever, that's his life. It's not mine. I'm glad I'm not Travis Bagent. I'm glad I never was, never will be.
Yeah.
I don't care. But I don't know, man. It's just how it goes.
Yeah. Listen, hold on. Don't go anywhere, because I want to talk to you right after, because I got a question, but I don't want to say it on here. But I just want to thank you and your wife, Destiny, for coming on and talking about this. It means a lot to me, because you picked my YouTube channel to talk about it. So it means, you know, it means a lot to me. You could have went on anybody's, you know. Much love, always much respect. And you guys will definitely be on again.